Father's Day, everybody. It's the 18th of June, 2023. It's Crypto Caesar from Caesar Capital. Hope you are well. Let's have a look at Bitcoin on the weekly. There are a couple of things here that I think that show strength with Bitcoin at the moment. There's a lot of bearish thesis out there at the moment, like a lot. And all these bears keep saying, why is everybody so bullish? But I don't think they are. And all these sentiment indicators suggest to me, both the indicators and those on Twitter, my own personal view on Twitter is that sentiment is low, and people are angry and unhappy and depressed. And I think that we are in that depressed part of the cycle. But anyway, here we are. This is Bitcoin on the weekly. I think the bottom is in. I think that Bitcoin is looking, I think there are arguments to be put forward at the moment that Bitcoin is actually looking pretty strong. Firstly, we had the resistance, the old resistance areas, which are now support of back in August 22, where Bitcoin came up, rejected off that area, came down, made its low, came back up in February 23. Rejected again, but came up, back up, drove through it with a really strong candle. It's petered off, come back down. But this area now, which was support back in May 22 for a short period of time, and in resistance in August 22 and February 23, is now support. So we can consider this area as support. And it's held that area pretty well, okay? Dip down slightly below it, but that's all right because, do we count candle wicks or do we count candle bodies? But generally speaking, it looked pretty good. Okay, it came down into that area that we thought it would come into. In my view, this was an opportunity to take a position. Obviously, not financial advice, but I was certainly taking positions in this area, in this box. And I think quite a lot of people also had that idea because Bitcoin has now moved out of that area and is looking fairly strong. There is an argument that this is just a bearish retest because it's coming up to retest this area now. Bearish, come back down. I'm not sure if I buy into that idea. It's possible if it does, and Bitcoin does break down through the 25K area, then of course, the levels below are, in my view, nothing but an opportunity because I feel as though the bottom is in for Bitcoin. But we'll have a look at that again in a moment. But looking at the indicators, I mean, everything seems to be going to plan. I mean, let's have a look at the bull market support band. So Bitcoin broke down below the bull market support band, but it has quickly, we can call it a deviation, that's deviated below the bull market support band, but now it is trending and trading above it. So if it can close this weekly candle above the bull market support band, we can probably put that down to a deviation because it wasn't closing anything below it. So that's pretty bullish. Also, we have the Gaussian channel, and if we look closely to the Gaussian channel and the median line, and you know how important the median line is in the Gaussian channel. I did a video on that. If you're interested to look at that, go back and have a look. But essentially, once Bitcoin breaks above on the weekly time frame, the median line on the Gaussian channel, so the median line is the middle line on the Gaussian channel, it generally goes on a decent run, okay? And it hasn't broken down below the Gaussian, the median line on the Gaussian channel. So that's really, really quite positive, okay? In fact, if you look really closely, it pinned the median line on the Gaussian channel pretty much exactly. I mean, look at that. You can't get any closer than that, okay? So it pinned the median line on the Gaussian channel. So that really was acting as support. And the Gaussian channel is a really good indicator for Bitcoin. And if you go back into Bitcoin's history and look at the Gaussian channel on loads of different time frames, you can see that there are certain things that stand out pretty strongly. So yeah, that's pretty bullish. Now, in relation to the median line, the Gaussian channel, I've done a video on this, so I'm not going to go into it, but the bottom line is this, is that when Bitcoin drops below the median line in the Gaussian channel and then comes back up and breaks above it, then usually, or generally speaking, it goes on a decent run out of the Gaussian channel. The Gaussian channel goes green. For example, here, drop below the median line of the Gaussian channel. This is a COVID low, came back up. Once it broke above the median line, went on a decent run. Here we go. This is the bear market in 2019. So obviously we dropped below the median line of the Gaussian channel, spent some time in an accumulation zone in the bear market, came back up, got above it, then we went on a decent run and held that median line of the Gaussian channel. Probably would have held it if it wasn't for the COVID low, which was arguably an unforeseen event. So everything's looking pretty good in relation to the median line, the Gaussian channel. Everything's looking pretty good in relation to the bull market support band, excuse me, and in relation to the 200-week moving average, which, to be honest, I'm not hugely concerned about because we don't really have much data on the 200-week. But anyway, it's currently on right on the 200-week. So, you know, it's kind of battling with the 200-week, but I'm not really concerned about the 200-week. There are lots of reasons why. One of them is that there isn't a huge amount of data in relation to the 200-week, and it's just one moving average, whereas I've got lots of other indicators that are telling me that, you know, things are looking fairly positive. But let's have a look on a slightly lower time frame for Bitcoin. So those are the sort of positives at the moment. Those are that are showing strength for Bitcoin. Let's have a look at a lower time frame. So you've probably seen this chart on my Twitter. This is the 3-day Coinbase Bitcoin chart. Below is the stochastic RSI, and you've probably, as I said, seen this chart on my Twitter. So we could see here that Bitcoin has printed an inverse head and shoulders. Okay, so this is the left shoulder, this is the right shoulder, and this is the head. For those of you who are traders, that you will know that a head and shoulders pattern is generally considered a bearish pattern, whereas an inverse head and shoulders, which is of course the inverse to a head and shoulders, or the opposite to a head and shoulders, is considered a bullish pattern. For those of you who don't know, this is an inverse head and shoulders. If we invert the chart, we would get a head and shoulders, of course, but essentially this is an inverse head and shoulders. So this is an inverse head and shoulders. We have the area, the battle line area for the bulls. Okay, this is kind of the area that really the bulls need to hold. Okay, and as I've said a moment ago, we came down into this area. It was an opportunity, really, and a lot of people took that opportunity, and Bitcoin has now driven out. Now we're printing here as well a bullish wedge pattern, so we really need to break out this bullish wedge pattern, and hopefully that might happen in the next few days. If we are to break out this bullish wedge pattern, then I think it's reasonable to consider that we will meet the target of the inverse head and shoulders, and the target of the inverse head and shoulders is around about 36K, and you depending on which exchange you look at, but the way you measure an inverse head and shoulders is that you measure from the neckline all the way to the bottom of the head, and then you take that and you put it on top of the neckline, and that will give you your target. So the target here, the measurement being from about here to here, is around about 36K or so, and that would be the assumed target if Bitcoin were to break out of that bullish wedge pattern. What's quite interesting in relation to momentum is that the Stoch RSI has now turned, and you've got a bullish cross here, so that's pretty good. And of course, as you will probably see from the chart, every time you get a bullish cross, there's usually a decent bit of momentum that follows it. So there was a bullish cross here, decent bit of momentum followed it, bullish cross here, decent bit of momentum that followed it. And then you probably have to go back to, you know, the beginning of the last bull market. So there was a bullish cross here back in September 2020, boom, up she went. Bullish cross here, March 20, up she went, etc., etc. Okay, I make my point. But the long and short of it, or the bottom line is this, is that Bitcoin has printed an inverse head and shoulders. Okay, left shoulder, right shoulder, head. The target for that is by measuring from the neckline to the head, and then you take that measurement and you put it from the neckline, and that gives you about 36K. So we just need to break out of this bullish wedge and make our way up there. Is that going to happen? I don't know, but there are lots of things that suggest, firstly, going back to the first chart, that Bitcoin is showing some form of strength here. Okay, so that's positive. Doesn't want to really break down in the face of adversity, in the face of FUD, in the face of SEC lawsuits left, right, and center, in the face of all sorts of things. Bitcoin doesn't want to break down below that median line of the Gaussian channel. So for that, it's showing me strength. And we do have some extremely bullish looking patterns here. And those are the targets, okay? And the momentum indicator suggests that we've got a bullish cross, and the momentum is now, the bearish momentum has waned, and the bullish momentum may take over for a short period of time. But it is what it is. We don't know what's going to happen. If we all knew what's going to happen in the future, we would all be billionaires, but unfortunately we don't. So all we can do is look at the charts, look at the facts, and make the best guess possible. My best guess is that we should be seeing 36K in the next month or so. All right, okay, hope you have a good day. If you're interested in joining the group and learning more about the Bitcoin cycle, learning more about the crypto cycle, then reach out to me on Twitter or reach out to me via the website. The link is in the description. If you are interested in trading on futures contracts, then I have a very decent link for you below for BTCC, one of the oldest futures exchanges in crypto history, and very reliable. So I will put the bonus link down in the description there. Essentially, that link gets you 50% off trading fees for life, which is actually quite significant if you are a futures trader. Okay, so if you want to join the group, reach out. It's, you know, great group, and we will be happy to see you within that group. Have a good day. Take care. Bye-bye.